My condolences to the Malcolm Jamal Warner family, all of his close friends, all of his past associates through business, through acting, through nonprofits that he helped with.
Lisa, the cultural significance of the Cosby Show at a time in the late 80s and early 90s when a big portion of this country would sit down and watch the same show on the same night, which is something that just doesn't happen anymore, just tiny little fractions of the population, but particularly for, as we were speaking in the last hour to Bomani Jones and others about how impactful it was to have this Cosby family represented in the way it was. Successful, middle-class family, just what a cultural touchstone it was, and Warner's involvement in that was central.
Absolutely. And Jim, Malcolm Jamal Warner was family. He was absolutely family, and the black community is grieving, just like they did with Chadwick Boseman and Kobe Bryant, because when you have a black celebrity, especially a black man who is representing the black community, you know, representation really does matter. We say that, but it's so very true. And when it came to Malcolm Jamal Warner, he was like our brother. He was like our cousin. You know, I have a funny story in that back in 2017, I interviewed him and he was talking about being a brand new dad. His daughter was 4 months old at the time, and he was so excited about that. He also made me promise not to call him Theo. He said as much as he loved the role, you know, his name was Malcolm. And a year later, I was supposed to interview him and do a set visit on the set of The Resident, which was another show that he was beloved for. And I got sick. I caught the flu, and I posted about not being able to see him and not being able to go to see Childish Gambino. I had tickets with friends, and he came in my comments on social media, and he said that, you know, basically he was sorry that I was sick, but could he get those Childish Gambino tickets? And that was Malcolm Jamal Warner. He was just like funny. And then his co-star came in and co-signed and said, yeah, we're down for that 100%. Like, can we get your tickets? And I mean, that was the thing. Like, we felt like we knew him from TV, but also, as Elizabeth points out, he was just beloved as a human being, as a person, as a man who loved music, as a man who loved culture. And he fully understood what he meant, Jim, to the black community, playing that role, being able to see an affluent black family on TV. It was the first time. It was groundbreaking, and it still hits you in the gut when you watch it, how important and vital the Cosby Show was. And this is, I can't state enough what a huge loss this is. This literally feels like we have lost a family member today.
I know it's pretty hard. 54 years old. I mean, I'm 51. I couldn't imagine 54 years old, full of life, full of energy, full of promise, full of goals and adventure. And it's all just ended. On vacation. And that's pretty tragic to me. And a lot of people who actually know me know how I feel about drowning, because I've had family members drown. One of my favorite animals drowned in my own pool in my backyard at one point in time, and it tore me up pretty bad. So I know drowning is a pretty tragic way to go. And it not only affects, you know, the people around them, but their moods will change. His entire family's mood will change. All of his friends, their mood will change over time, because you keep playing that emotion of the drowning through your head over and over again. And you keep playing what this person may have been going through over and over again. Someone who you know is brave, who is intelligent, is now trapped in a moment of fear and desperation, and you keep playing that through your head over and over again. It's one of the worst ways to die. I was trapped in a fire a few years ago, and I thought I died in that fire. I mean, a lot of people who know me know what I looked like when I came out of that fire, and I thought I was dead that day. Between burning and drowning, you're alive, and you can feel yourself losing your life. It's one of the worst feelings ever. So it's something that, you know, a lot of people who are doing the stories about Malcolm Jamal right now, because it's a trending topic. I mean, the emotion behind these stories is more than just news to some of us. Some of us have experienced this before, and we know what it's like to come out the other side beaten death. But sitting there wondering what would have happened had I died. When I was going through my fire, I felt that, you know, I saw my sons. I saw my life. I saw my cars, my motorcycles. I saw my dogs. I saw everything around me in a flash. It was so quick. I saw it all right in my head vividly, saying that's the last time I'm ever going to have that thought. Last thought in my head. And I made it out. I couldn't imagine what Malcolm was thinking. Couldn't imagine knowing his family was on the beach, fighting for his life, thinking, I got to get back. This is not how I go out. I can beat this, but I'm not winning. I don't feel myself winning. I think this is it. The thoughts that go through your head in that whole process is hard. It's hard. Luckily, I came out the other side. But even though the people in my family who I know who have drowned, one of my favorite pets, I called him my son. He was my son, Diesel. He drowned in my pool out back while I was gone. Just to realize the franticness, the fear, the extreme fear that had to be going through somebody's mind at that moment. And you know, if you were there, you could have probably prevented that somehow. If you had anything in your body to reach out and help, you would have gave it all up just to reach out and help. You hear about people jumping off of boats to save somebody. That's how far you would go. You don't even care about what's in that water. Sometimes it hits you because you see the panic, you see the fear, you feel it. And at that moment in time, you say, I don't want this person to go through that. I'd rather go through it for them. That's how severe it can be. So, my heart goes out to the family, and it's going to be a long time before this works out of your system, because it's not just a simple death. It was a tragic death. It was a fight for life type of death. It was is there anything we could have did to prevent that pipe? I mean, it's so much goes through your mind, and it will always go through your mind. Even when I'm in my pool to this day swimming, you don't think I think about my dog? I do. I think about him every day. I got new dogs too. I mean, one of my dogs was here when it happened, but I still think about it every day. It still affects me every day. Some days I lay in bed and I think, what could I have done to prevent that from happening? People who know me now know I'm doing everything in my power to keep these dogs out of that pool. I put life vests on them. I'm out there swimming with them all the time. I keep them on one side of the gate. It's a tragedy that affects you for the rest of your life. It's something that never works its way out of your soul. And I know people go, well, it was just a dog. I've had family members drown in rivers. Had it happen before. I've had family members drown before in pools. One of the worst ways you can go. So I hope you guys really take, this drowning seriously. If you don't know how to swim, or if you want to learn how to swim better, be okay with taking swimming lessons. We so quick to go out there and spend money on nightclubs and clothes and everything. Water covers 75% of this planet. 75% of this planet is water. 25% is land. But we don't take the time to learn how to swim. Not saying he didn't know how to swim. He probably did. There's a way to get out of undercurrents. There's a way to get out of it. It's not 100% guarantee. People drowned in pools at home. It's not 100% guarantee, but at least you're fighting for your survival. If you have the skills it takes to make it, you're going to fight for your survival. And I say that as advice to you. Go out, learn how to swim better, learn defensive tactics in water. 75% of this planet is covered in water. You got to learn how to do something at that point. And I also want to say that, I appreciate Malcolm, and this message is probably for his family and his friends and anybody who watches this. I appreciate him because I grew up watching the Cosby Show. I mean, I was one of them kids that emulated him. I was only a few years younger than him, but I could see myself in him in every show. I was the kid who was always dressed clean like Malcolm. I wasn't, dressed like the gangsters you saw. Everybody wanted to be a rapper. Everybody wanted to be like, NWA, and everybody wanted to be. I was always dressing like nice. I was like the Boys to Men dresser. I was like the Malcolm Jamal Warner dresser. That's how I was. Always in school. Always doing my work. I was not the kid that was trying to be street. I was saying, man, if I could just do like that, I could live like that. My cousin James Cuts, he owns Jack's Barbecue or whatever. My cousin James, I did a deal for him one time to the point where he gave me a Cosby sweater. It was an all-white sweater with black leather patches. It had some black knitting on it. It was my Cosby sweater, the only Cosby sweater I ever had. Everybody used to try to go for Cosby sweaters. In high school, I was like, that was everybody's dream, to have a Cosby sweater, just to dress like that, to be like that show. When I got to college up at Drake, I bought a Cosby sweater, but it was black with a bunch of colors on it and everything. It didn't hit the same. It was okay. It didn't hit the same as that one that James gave me, but it was something that we always emulated for. We wanted to be like that family so bad. We wanted to be in college. We watched It's a Different World. When, Dwayne Wayne and all those guys, they ended up going to college and everything. We watched all those shows because we wanted to be those shows. So to sit and to hear that somebody who we emulated against in our age range A lot of life left ahead of them. A lot of family memories left ahead of them to just be gone like that. It tells you life is real, man. Life is real. Anything can happen to anybody at any given time. Life is real. Always take care of yourself. Live your fullest. Go on vacation. Even if it might be your last vacation, at least go on vacation. Create memories with your family every day. Stop working 70, 80 hours a week. Go out and live life. Enjoy this planet. Leave memories behind for people. Because Malcolm left a lot of memories for a lot of us. We still live on those memories. We remember the Cosby Show. We remember Malcolm and Eddie. We remember everything about what he did to help us as young black men grow up to be as successful as we are with college careers, trying to own our own businesses like he owned his bar. We try to own our own businesses. That's what he emulated. So in his memory, everybody just keep doing the best you can do. Keep elevating. Give all of these gangster rappers and everybody like that all the attention, all the accolades. But we never give guys like Malcolm Jamal Warner the true credit, why he's alive. Never give him his true flowers, why he's still alive, to say these are all the families you molded with your career, with your life. These are all the young men who you helped make it through college. The young men who you helped not think being a gangster was the way to live. Running around with guns was the way to live. No. We saw it was about dressing right, having good English, proper English, going to college, hanging around good people, not always trying to hang around thugs and try to be the cool cat. Sometimes hanging around the corny people gets you further in life. That's what we learned from that show. So, man, it breaks my heart to wake up and hear that. And I hope people out there who actually see these videos out here really take into consideration all that we just witnessed and all that we just lost in a single wave. Sometimes it happens like that.